order the Richfield Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of January 20th, 2026 to order. Start with roll call.
We've noted attendance. Thank you.
Okay, this is an opportunity for the open forum. Participants can share their comments in person, by voicemail or email, and may also request to participate virtually. For more information on submitting comments, refer to the Housing and Redevelopment Authority HRA agenda and minutes page on the city's website. There's no one here in the council chambers at the moment. Did anyone send any other messages in?
No, we received no messages.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, and with that, I'll ask for approval of the agenda tonight.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And next, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes from the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of November 17th, 2025.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We don't have any presentations tonight, and that will move us to the consent calendar.
Yes, thank you, Acting Chair Hansen. The consent calendar contains separate items which are acted upon by the HRA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further HRA action on these items is necessary. However, any commissioner may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for HRA discussion and action. All items listed on the consent calendar are recommended for approval. There's a single item on your consent calendar tonight. It is to consider approval of a temporary permit allowing MnDOT, or the Minnesota Department of Transportation, to access properties owned by the HRA at 1600 and 1620 78th Street East to rebuild a sidewalk during the I-494 Project 2 construction. And I submit this for your consideration.
All right.
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
All right, a motion has been made and seconded for approval of the consent calendar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We don't have any public hearings or resolutions this evening on the agenda. That moves us to item number 11, the consolidation of a professional services agreement.
Thank you, Acting Chair Hansen. I'm going to have Assistant Director Julie Urban present the report.
Thank you. Acting Chair Hansen, members of the HRA. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the HRA contracted with Veep to provide emergency rental assistance to people who were economically impacted by the pandemic. Following that initial response, significant funding became available from the state and Hennepin County to cover the need. Veep administered funds on behalf of the county and was able to serve many Richfield households with emergency rental assistance without needing HRA funding. Funding for emergency rental assistance is expected to be significantly less in 2026 due to the expiration of pandemic-era resources. The county has also reduced the number of service providers that administer this assistance, and Veep was not selected to be an administrator. While Richfield residents will still be eligible to apply for rental assistance through the county's portal, Veep is seeing and expects to continue seeing a need greater than the resources available, and is concerned that residents in its surface area will receive less effective services. The county is also focusing its funding on households earning less than 30% of the area median income, which leaves other low-income households without options to maintain their housing stability in cases of emergency. Veep is asking the communities it serves to assist in filling some of the gap in resources, and staff recommends that the HRA direct $50,000 of the city's local affordable housing aid, or LAHA, to Veep for emergency rental assistance. Households earning up to 50% of the AMI would be eligible for up to 3 months of assistance. Veep also provides case managers who work directly with both residents and landlords to come up with solutions for maintaining housing stability. And one of those case managers currently offices in the Municipal Center here in Richfield 2 mornings a week. Up to 15% or $7,500 of the LAHA funds may be used for quote unquote navigation and servicing related to providing the rental assistance. That is language directly from the LAHA statute if you are curious as to that kind of unique language. So VEAP anticipates that they would be able to serve between 10 and 30 households with the funds. Since I wrote this report 10 days ago, I think that circumstances have changed a little bit in that we expect pretty high, significant need in the coming weeks, just because of the federal activity going on and how that has impacted people's ability to get to work. So I would just add that, because I know that that's a concern that was brought before the council last week, and just leave this item for your consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions?
I did have a question that a resident sent to me earlier today, and their concern was about housing help for seniors. So this is not age restricted, so someone that is a senior could apply for this just along with anyone else that was interested?
Correct, yep, it's open to all, yes, regardless of age or status.
All right, thank you.
I am curious, just knowing how this situation is evolving. Is there anything about this action tonight that prevents us from doing a similar action if that were appropriate in coming months?
No, and I did include some information in the financial section to show, we received, if you remember, quite a bit more in LAHA than we were expecting. And so we have over $250,000 of uncommitted funds. Okay. So yes, there would be additional funds that you could consider if that's what you so chose. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The original plan, when I started talking to VEAP last fall, was that we would start with this amount and then reassess come summer. I'm guessing we will probably need to reassess sooner than that, but
okay,
it remains to be known, to see.
Okay, thank you.
I had one other question that I had asked staff earlier. It came up about how the LAHA funds could be used, and so we can add to what we're doing, we just can't supplant. Is that what I was understanding? Can you explain about whether or not how that works and how we can use these funds?
Yes, so there's specific language that says you can't replace your current efforts. You can't use LAHA basically to reduce your own funding. So when we go into report, I have to show how much we have spent on housing efforts for the past 3 years and then compare it so that they can see, and then we have to explain if there's a reduction. We did have a couple of reductions, and the answers were things like the funds ran out. We were using sales proceeds. And so to date, we've just provided an explanation for those changes or those reductions.
So that's good to know that it is open in the future. If we need to add more, we could.
Yes, certainly. In this case, right, we weren't putting money for several years into rent assistance, and so it would be considered new money, right, a new effort.
Okay, any additional questions?
No, I will move the staff recommendation to approve a professional services agreement with VEAP to provide funding for emergency rental assistance and the related navigation and servicing of the program using $50,000 in local affordable housing aid.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to add that I am very much in support of this, and I think it's very timely, and it's something that really is needed in our community. So I'm grateful for VEAP for offering to administer this program, and I think they do great work with it.
I think this is really kind of one of those areas where Richfield can really kind of stand up and be proud of itself. I know that VEAP was started many years ago by 13 churches here in Richfield, people who saw a need in the community, and it was a very grassroots effort. And today VEAP, of course, has grown into this very professional organization that administers these type of programs with high excellence. All right. Well, that will bring us to the Executive Director's Report.
Thank you. I don't have anything specific to share today.
Okay. Any HRA discussion items?
So I don't know if this technically is probably an EDA discussion item. I know there's been a great deal of concern with a lot of our small businesses are struggling right now due to concerns about the safety of their workers and their customers with the surge in immigration enforcement. And so we have a number of businesses that have cut back hours or have closed temporarily. And I'm wondering if we can work together with the Economic Development Authority or somebody to assess the economic impact and whether or not there's anything we can do to help those businesses so that there's not a long-term negative effect.
Right, thank you for the question. We did hear this, we're hearing it from the community, we're hearing it, we heard it at the open forum last week as well. We're aware of roughly 10 businesses that have at least temporarily closed, and then several others that have cut back their hours. Right now, we're having a lot of conversations. We're talking to our peer communities and some of the larger communities that have entire economic development departments and staff to get some ideas of what they are looking at. I will tell you that this is unfortunately more complicated than providing housing assistance. There's a lot more protection for people in regard to housing and your lease there than there are for businesses. But we're starting with those conversations. We're having some conversations with the HRA and EDA attorney. There are some considerations when we're providing assistance, how we would perhaps structure a program that we want to make sure that we're consulting with our attorney. We're also having conversations with businesses as we can. You can imagine it is difficult to get in touch with some folks right now, but we're compiling lists of contact information that we do have and reaching out to see if we can assess what would be most helpful. The nice thing about being able to provide this assistance to VEEP is that while it isn't directly helping the business, it is available to those who have lost their income due to either owning their business and closing it, and also the people that are working in those businesses. So it's an indirect assist, but it is something. I would say that if you are in contact or if you're a small business owner that is watching this, I'd recommend, if you're willing, to get in touch with Jan Youngquist, who's our Economic Development Manager, and share your experience. It is going to be difficult for us to quantify the economic impact. We know it's there, but it's going to be a challenge. But I can tell you we're working on it.
Thank you. I had one other question that's tangentially related to all of this. I know there's the concern because those businesses are closing or people are not being able to get their income right now because they're temporarily closed. And we've talked about rental assistance. Has there been any discussion of what to do if somebody's having trouble making their mortgage payments for the same reason? You know, we've talked about a lot of the rental, but what about the people that are homeowners that are struggling as well? And I don't need the answer right now, but I just want to throw that out there for thought.
Yes, that's also on our mind. There is perhaps going to be a little bit more leeway for those with a mortgage, but we are thinking about that as well. I don't have answers for you tonight, but it is on our list.
Thank you.
Any other discussion items? All right, that moves us to approval of claims.
I'll move approval of the claims.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that looks like that completes our business for tonight, so we'll call the meeting adjourned.